Welcome to the Pitch Up podcast. Join us as we get to know more about some of the amazing people from our local area.
What they have achieved in their chosen professions really is remarkable. We're excited that they have given us the opportunity to get to know them better and let us share their journeys with you also.
This series really does prove that people from our local area can go on to achieve anything. We hope that you enjoy these conversations as much as we did, so listen up and we'll take care of the rest. Today's guest is local adventurer Ben Wright. We discuss how he first got into mountaineering in the Lake District and his journey since then, tackling the Wainwrights, Scottish Munros, the Welsh 3000s and some of the biggest peaks in Europe. We also get into his ambitious plans to summit Everest and how he'll be teaming up with some of the cast of 14 Peaks recently aired on Netflix. So let's get into it. Right mate, let's make a start, shall we? Yeah. So first of all, thanks very much for spending your Friday night here at my house set up doing this podcast.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. So obviously we split Holker together football a while back, but I first came across you again on Instagram where I saw you described yourself as an adventurer and you had loads of great content on there and even like 40,000 followers, which I thought it's amazing in such a short space of time. So I'd like to start by just asking, what is an adventurer and how did you get into it?
So an adventurer, I'd class it as, I'd say I'm more of a mountaineer than an adventurer, but I obviously hike and wild camp, just see all the places across the UK, but I've recently started doing a lot abroad. Quality. So yeah, that's why I'd class myself more of a mountaineer now. Yeah, I got into it by hiking as a kid, so I went with my auntie,
right,
and she took me all the time, so I just grew a love of the outdoors back then, and then it kind of like spiralled after lockdown.
Yeah.
When we were allowed out again. Yeah. So
where was it? Did you go with your auntie? Was it on the lake?
Always in the Lake District. Yeah. Yeah.
Was she big into it as well?
Yeah, she loved it. Yeah. Right. So it was great.
All sort of snowball from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's awesome. So, are you from Barrow originally, born and raised?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Right. What school did you go to?
I went to Dowdales. I used to live in Dalton as a kid, so
fun.
Nice and close.
Yeah, of course. So one of the things we're really interested in is you've obviously done lots of amazing things, even that short space of time with your Munros, some of the highest peaks in Europe you've been tackling. What is your sort of biggest challenges you've come across so far when doing some of this stuff?
I'd say the biggest one so far, I did hike in Italy in September called Gran Paradiso.
Right.
That was 4,000 plus metres, so that was the highest I've done. And then I've done one called Mount Toubkal in Morocco as well.
Wow.
That was also 4,100 plus metres, so basically half of Everest.
Wow.
So yeah, tough. I've done pretty much everything in the UK now, everything in Wales and the Lake District, so I'm making my way through the Scottish Munros at the moment.
Right.
But they're really tough.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, well, so we'll get on to them probably a little bit later on. But
so when you're tackling these big ones, do you train by hiking locally or do you train hard in the gym? Obviously, you're going to have some form of engine and cardiovascular fitness. So do you train hard or do you train by?
So my training is basically in the hills in the UK. That's the best form of training. If you use a heavy backpack and doing long hard days in the hills, that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
And then I do about 6 days a week in the gym as well, like weight work. And then a few 5Ks, but can't
stay away from the running.
Yeah. Not a big fan of running.
But do you do all this on your own then? So when you go up the lakes or go to Italy, for example, the Italy one you just described, did you do that on your own or was there a team involved?
So I did that with a friend, the Italy one, and then the same with the Moroccan one as well. So we went over together and then you'd get a guide who takes you up and everything like that. But I do a lot in the UK on my own, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to find people to do it like constantly, so.
Right, so you just get out on your own, it's easier.
It's easier,
just more convenient.
Go at your own pace and
So what's the sort of process though? So when you're tackling one of these big ones in Italy or in Morocco, what's the process? How do you go about planning it from start to finish?
So you obviously find the one you want to do first, and then the really expensive expeditions. So you've got to save for them all, and then just start planning your gear, your training, your accommodation, everything like that, and then get like a well-known guide to take you up there.
Right.
Yeah.
What sort of cost, if you don't mind me asking, are you looking at if someone wanted to get into it?
I'd say Italy cost me around £3,000, and then the Moroccan one was just a quick one, so we did that over 3 days. That was about 500.
Right.
And then I'm going to Nepal in April, and that's costing around 6,000. So yeah, the higher you go, the more expensive it is. It gets like really expensive.
I can imagine.
A few overtime shifts in the
like 100, yeah.
So this is obviously time consuming. It's not something you can go and book a court for an hour and do. It's a time consuming hobby.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you fit it in around working in the yard?
So I'm on the 3-on-4 shift, so I get a lot of time off. So on my 4 off, that's when I hike. Yeah, so I get plenty of time.
Yeah. Cool.
To get out.
So before these shifts started, on days was it obviously a lot more difficult?
Yeah, so I'd mainly hike on a weekend on days, just Saturday, Sundays, maybe a Friday when you finish early. Yeah, that was the only way you could do it really.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, it doesn't get dark till about 8, so you could finish at 4 and then just go up quickly and quick hike back down.
Shoot out.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're so lucky living where we live. Like 30-40 minutes, you're straight into the heart of the Lake District.
Yeah.
You've got all that at your disposal, haven't you, to get at. So
I think a lot of people take it for granted who live around here.
100%.
Yeah.
And like, I suppose you were lucky in a sense that your auntie was taking you up there the weekend or when you were a kid, whereas some people don't get that opportunity, I suppose, because even though it is only 30-40 minutes away, you've got the car to get up there, and adults got to spend the time with you when they might be busy, etc.
Yeah,
they're probably quite fortunate in that.
People don't like going on their own either, so they don't often know people who do it, so they're like, I don't know what to do or where's best to go kind of thing. So
that's a good question actually. For someone who's never been up the lakes on a walk, where do they start?
So I'd start the best way to do it is just find someone who's done it before, which isn't too easy, but you can always use Google and everything. Find like a relatively easy hike, like say Cat Bells or Loughrig, and then just go from there. Just make sure you've got the route and planned it correctly.
Do you take a map with you, or do you have an app, or what do you
I use both, just because in case like you're up there and the app's never foolproof, so
What app do you use?
It's called All Trails. It's
good.
really good.
Is that a free app, is it, or is that something you have to pay for?
It is free if you've got signal, but if you don't, you can download the premium version,
and
then it gives you like a GPS, so you can see where you're at on the route constantly, which is
that's good.
Yeah.
So your Instagram, obviously you've amassed a load of followers. Did you set out to gain a massive following, or was it something that you just started sharing your walks online and it just kind of spiraled? How did you do that?
No, never. I didn't do it for followers or anything. It was more to, once I started doing the Wainwrights, I'd put a story on of the summit, so then I could go back and I'd always remember which I'd done, because there's 214, and when you're logging them, you don't want to forget. You have to redo it. So that was the easiest way for me, and then I'd start posting pictures from the hike, and then it just went from there really.
From there,
like a lot of people were messaging and I was helping them with routes, and I thought the more I'd post, the more I could help people. So
amazing.
Have you ever been a guide? If someone messaged you and said, I really want to do this walk, I'm a bit nervous, would you come with me? Is that something you'd be?
So I've done a few group hikes, but I've never like guided. You need to have the qualifications and things, but I have let people come along with me and I've helped them out. Yeah,
that's good.
Is it something you would be interested in doing though, downstream, like getting your quals to do the sort of guide things? And
100%. I'd say once I've done a few of the higher peaks abroad, I'd love to do like alpine mountaineering, like be a guide up there.
Brilliant.
Awesome. What's the hardest Wainwright?
I'd probably say Pave the Arc via Jack's Ray, because it's a scramble. Or Sharp Edge was a tough one as well.
Sharp Edge,
on Blencathra.
I've never done any of these.
A few of my mates do them at work and they speak about that.
A few it's like a knife point ridge. It's pretty scary, but Have you
ever had any close calls or?
I've been quite lucky
moments?
actually. The worst I've ever done is just cut my hand and that's it. Yeah, I've been lucky. Yeah,
Must be good at it. That's
yeah, touch wood.
Yeah, so I was wondering as well, with the Wainwrights, a lot of people do that sort of challenge of try to tick them all off. How long did it take you? And
I set out to do them all within a year. I'd say it took me about 9 months. I was playing football back then.
Really?
And I'd pulled my hamstring, so I was out for 3 months. So yeah, 9 months total it took. But that I was going out like pretty much every day. Yeah. Just after the lockdown finished, so I had plenty of time, yeah.
Is it something you enjoy in all weathers then? So if you're going out every day over a year, or is there times where you think actually it's more the challenge of getting out there, even if it's pissing down, you don't really feel like it, you still think actually I've got something I want to do here, and force yourself out?
It's like it's a good motivator to set yourself a goal and just go for it, yeah. In the Lake District, the weather's pretty much crap all the time, yeah. So getting out in the snow, getting battered by winds every weekend, yeah.
And I suppose that preps you, does it, for like these bigger expeditions, you want to call them, like in Europe and in the Alps and stuff. If you've been out in all weathers up in the Lake District, at least you're a little bit prepared for that sort of stuff out there.
Yeah, 100%. Especially even more so with Scotland, like it's got its own weather system, so you could be up there with your top off, getting a tan, and then next
I won't be on my top off. No.
And then next minute it's snowing. Yeah, it's crazy.
You said you did some wild camping. You've got a good wild camping story, haven't you? You've been.
Oh, Ben Ock, yeah. If he's watching this, I'm not into this sort of thing at all, but he took us around the lake somewhere. I don't know where it was. I had a one-man tent I bought for like 40 quid just for the weekend. The rain was horizontal from like 10 o'clock. I was holding my tent up all night. I thought, where's the fucking fun in this? What is going on here? I was up at like 4, I think, and back to the car. I was like, never again. So fair play. Yeah, horrendous.
I was camping solo not long ago, and the winds were like 50 mile an hour. It literally felt like I was on Everest. Finally got comfy, put a little film on and that, enjoying it. Next minute, tent blows over. It was pissing down, so I had to get out, try and like put it all up in the wind on my own. It was horrendous.
So what are you thinking in that moment? So I was literally thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I'm not doing this again, and you go back for more. So what are you thinking?
I think it's, like when you're hungover and you're like, never again. Yeah. And then just forget about it and redo it. Yeah.
So just on the Wainwrights, people listening to this may be thinking, I need a new challenge. I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish it by the end of the year. Can anyone do it, or do you need some form of fitness? Can you do a bit of research, get up there and just go after them? Or
anyone can do them. I know people who aren't too fit who've done them.
You sorted then, Adam.
That was more a question for me.
You should have said. So as long as you take it slow at first, the more you do them, obviously the fitter you get. And I'd say mountain fitness is a lot different to any cardio or gym work you're going to do. You could be the fittest person ever, but like I've took one of my best mates up there on the Pavey Arc one, and I think she was about 80. This woman kept overtaking us, and he's like a big lad. Yeah. And then one point he bent over and like threw up, and she just walked past us. I was like, God's sake.
Yeah, getting lapped by an old woman.
So anyone can do them. You just got to put your mind to it. Yeah.
Berlin.
Awesome. I did Coniston Old Man once, nearly died.
Yeah, hard work.
All my mates are waiting for me.
So going back to the Munros then, so that's obviously up in Scotland. Can you tell us a bit more about them, like how many there are, where you are in that sort of journey of ticking all them off?
Yeah, so there's 282 altogether. Mm-hmm. Every Munro's over 3,000 feet.
Really?
So a hell of a lot. So Scarfell Pike's the highest in the Lake District, and in comparison to the Munros, I think it's about 180th in the list. Really? So there's 180 Munros higher than Scarfell Pike. Wow. Yeah.
Brutal Scotland, isn't it?
So I've done 64 in just over a year, and I'm aiming to do about 50 a year. Hopefully finish them within about 3-4 years.
Right. Yeah. And that takes some serious planning as well then, or do you literally decide which one you're going to do that week and go and do it?
So I think I've spent about £1 million on fuel so far and Airbnbs. So it's best to go up for a few days and try and get as many ticked off as possible, but the absolute beasts up there, just sad.
The Wainwrights are fairly concentrated, aren't they? You're an hour away from most of them. Yeah, the Munros must be more difficult to plan and tick off because they're so remote as well, aren't they? Quite spread out.
Yeah, so I think the closest Munros a 4-hour drive. Then you've got like the Isle of Skye and Torridon, they're about 8-hour drives. Wow. And the Wainwrights are really close together, so you can take like 10 off in a row.
Yeah.
Whereas one row could take you 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
have you done any on Sky yet?
I've done 2 on the Cullens Ridge. Yeah, they're like the most beautiful spot in the UK by far.
Have you
You'll
done
have to have a look at it.
Inaccessible Peak?
The Impin, no, I've not done that yet. I'm going to do the full ridge in one go, because you need like ropes and a guide for that.
Yeah.
It's serious.
Would you get a guide for that? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
So what is that? Sorry, the in-pin.
Yeah, it's like a big 50, I'd say about 50 metre pinnacle like that.
Right.
It looks like a rock on top of a ridge.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've got to like belay down it and use ropes and everything. Yeah.
Has there many people done that one then? Is that like the hardest one out of all the Munros?
I'd say it's one of the hardest. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh.
Yeah, tricky. That's my friend at work's trying to tip them all off. He's called Lee Hodgson. He's done a few Munros. He's trying to get through them all, and he told me to ask you if you'd done it and if you'd use a guide.
Yeah.
Because he was interested and if you'd been there.
Yeah. Anything on Sky I'd use a guide for.
Really?
Definitely. Yeah. It's too dangerous otherwise. Yeah.
There you go, Lee.
Going back to some of like the peaks in Europe then, so you mentioned some of your future ambitions there is Nepal.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a bit about that expedition and what you've got planned?
So in April I'm doing a peak called Labuche. It's 6,100 metres. It's going to take about 20 days, so I'm going to trek to Everest Base Camp to acclimatise. I think that's about 5,300 metres.
That's a warm-up.
Yeah, a little warm-up, yeah. And then head to Labuche Base Camp and hopefully summit that. But I'm doing it with a guide called Gesman Tamang. So I don't know if you've heard of the Netflix documentary 14 Peaks.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant, that,
With
isn't it?
Nim's Dye.
Yeah.
Gesman's one of the guys who did the 14 Peaks with him. So it's going to be amazing to like
Bit
learn
some
off him.
experience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Some of the stories he'll have to tell you as well, like the amount of knowledge you'll be able to get from someone like that who's been in, obviously done it all really, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's summited Everest 6 times. Yeah, so he's serious.
That is unreal,
So
isn't it?
it'd be a really good learning curve, to be fair. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Some humans are just built different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, how do you summit Everest 6 times? Like, one
crazy,
time
isn't
is like a lifetime achievement. He's
Getting down and thinking, I fancy that again.
do that again.
It's
Do that one a bit too slow. Go again.
it's easy for them, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so these higher peaks you're tackling outside of the country. Do you do them and then think, I'd do that again, it was fantastic, or do you think, I want to go one bigger, I want to try and scale a lot more?
Yeah. I've got a mindset where I always want to better myself and like push myself to my limit, and I haven't found that yet. Even with Italy, and I was like fine on the top and everything. So I'm like, the second I got back, I booked this Labuche, and then I'm already planning like after that as well. So hopefully I'm going to try do Everest in 2025, and then
Summit on first.
Summit Everest, yeah.
Wow.
And then do one in January to about 7,000 metres called Aconcagua in Argentina. But it's mainly funds like Everest. Do you know how much Everest costs?
I don't know. I'd be interested to know.
Hazard a guess.
10 grand.
10 grand.
I'd probably go a little bit more. 12 grand.
12 grand. Times that by 5.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 55,000 to summit it. Yeah.
So how do you go about raising that sort of money to do it then? Is it all through sponsorship?
All through sponsorship, yeah, or a hell of a lot of overtime, but it'd take you forever. So. Yeah, I've recently got a sponsorship deal, so that's going to help me a lot.
Who's that with, if you want?
It's called Rich Energy. They're a premium energy drink brand, so they're going to help with my expeditions and everything, which is really handy.
That's
good,
awesome.
isn't it?
How
Yeah.
did that come about? Was it through your Instagram or?
Yeah, just through Instagram. They contacted me, and then I went down to London and got a contract sorted. I met the CEO, really nice guy.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Fantastic.
It's amazing how these things, like when people take opportunities or thrust themselves into something, and the amount of opportunities that comes off the back of doing stuff, like we find with that stuff we do, like sometimes we're not even sure why we're doing it, but we think, well, we'll give it a go. And you never know what will
We
spring
might
off the
meet
back of it.
someone,
You meet someone and you get into something else that you weren't planning on doing.
I've had some amazing opportunities through Instagram, like working with Montaigne and Blacks Outdoors, all the big companies and everything. So yeah.
So what sort of work do you do with them then? Is it just
They'll send gear and I'll test it and get like pictures from Instagram and stuff like that. and then just like review the gear.
Right.
Yeah, or they'll know what I'm doing expedition wise, and they'll send me what I need, which really helps.
Brilliant.
It's like even like boots and jackets, about 600 quid a piece. So yeah.
Did you ever contact them first then? Did you ever say, listen, I'm going on Everest in 2025, I've got like a bit of a plan of how I'm going to get there, what can you do for me?
I haven't so far. I think it's a bit cheeky, but yeah. I feel a bit rude. But
get a letter written and fire it out to everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this, I've got this many followers.
Yeah.
Get me some gear now.
Yeah.
It would work, to be fair, but yeah, I don't really need to, I don't think. You get enough, like, given my spare bedrooms, like, might as well just be a climbing shop.
It's a good way to see the world. Like when you were saying before, I was thinking, like, you're going to Argentina, you've been to Italy, Morocco, like, it's like you say, it's a really good way to get out there and experience different things. And
yeah, you're seeing so much that you'd never see, really. Yeah,
because when I go away with the lads or anyone, you're just on the piss, you don't really see much, you don't remember much. But when you're doing it that way, you're taking in their culture, taking in what sort of everything about that country. Really,
the culture's a big thing as well with like the climbing community, especially in, like, I'm really looking forward to Nepal because they've got like an amazing culture. So yeah, it'd be a lot different, but really good to see.
100%.
You've got a mentality where it's clear to see, and you've said it, you want to better yourself all the time, but is there ever one achievement that you've done and you thought, fucking hell, I'll smash that? Like, what's your highest achievement that you think, God, you just keep wanting to go one extra?
I'd say my highest achievement was the climbs I did in Italy, because the week previously we were in France doing a lot of like traverses on the ridges or like knife points, so I'd never really done anything with ropes and stuff before, and that was like 3,500 meters, so like massive and just pure drops. So I was like shitting myself. I had to like double check my equipment constantly. I was like, are you sure this rope's attached?
I've been over with that. Go ape and you're like booking yourself. Like, I'm not doing that.
Like go ape on steroids.
The only reason I finished go ape was because Paige went first. I was crying inside. Yeah, I was panicking.
You're like, I've got to go now.
Have you ever been out though with someone or know people personally where they have come unstuck and it's gone wrong for them, and how's that affected you if you have?
Yeah, so when I was in France on the traverse I was talking about, my friend dislocated a shoulder just by the summit. Yeah. So they had to get the chopper to come and rescue him off, and that was scary. I'd never really seen any big accidents on the mountains before, but it didn't really put me off. Like it probably should have done, but yeah. No, I've been quite lucky. I haven't seen anything too bad. You hear like a lot of deaths and things in Scotland, like they're quite frequent, so really? it is scary reading it, but yeah.
So like when you're saying there, like a dislocated shoulder at like sea level, it's absolutely fine. You know, you bring an ambulance and it's nothing. And when you're out that remote or that high in altitude, it's a whole different kettle of fish.
Down,
a whole different kettle.
Yeah, you're stuck basically. There's nothing you can do. Yeah.
Have you ever been mountaineering or in a position where you thought, this is past my current ability, I'm outside of my comfort zone here, or do you back? Have you always been able to back your training and your knowledge?
Yeah, with that traverse again, I'd said like I'd never done anything that major before, but I was very confident in, like, because I do bouldering and like a lot of scrambles. I have good upper body strength, so I knew I could like handle it, but it's more like the mentality, like you just gotta forget there's a drop there and just crack on. Like it's more, a lot of it's more mental than physical. Especially with the altitude and things as well. Like if you're hiking at 3,000 4,000 meters, it's like, the best way to describe it is if you do it like 100 meter sprint, you're like knackered, aren't you? That's like every 10 steps, like the oxygen level is like halved. So it's so tough, but you just got to have the mental strength to just keep going.
Can you train for altitude at ground level as well? Is that possible? Like, I've seen these masks before where like you see like UFC fighters and boxers on the treadmill with these masks on. Is that something you do as well, or?
I've never tried it, but there is altitude centres where you can like go and train with the mask on, so they can like simulate being at 6,000 8,000 metres.
Right.
So that's probably something I will do once I go higher, I guess.
Start getting down at them sort of centres a bit more.
It'd be good to know before you paid for Everest that you you can cope with the altitude, and it's
Yeah.
probably a good test. Yeah.
That's the thing though. You never know how it's going to affect you, or if it'll affect you. Like one time you could do Everest twice, and the first time it won't affect you, but the second time will. It's just it's hard to read the altitude. It can just kick your ass whenever it wants.
Some hobby.
Yeah.
Changing tact a little bit. I was going to ask, is this something you can make a career out of then? Because obviously, if you're in the yard now on shift, it's a good money, good career. Is it something you want to go full time in, though, adventuring? And
Eventually, yeah, it'd be amazing to. I think there's a big chance that as soon as I've done like the bigger summits and things like that, I think I'll be able to leave work.
It's a chance.
Yeah.
So what's that process look like then? Because you don't just decide one day, actually, I've done Everest now, I'm going to quit my job. What's the process of making it full time? How do you get that income to come in from it?
It'll just be from like I said, like guiding and things like that. Obviously, you get paid working for companies and stuff like that. So I guess the more you do, the more you can earn.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy once you've got to like a certain amount of followers. I guess the more followers you have, it appeals to companies, and then that's how the work comes in.
Become more commercial for them, I suppose.
I don't think you'd ever be short of guided tours at the lakes either, would you? The amount of people, the tourism that wants to do these Wainwrights.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's loads.
You've got the following. I'm going up. Who wants to join me?
Yeah,
I like it.
On the guided hikes I was doing, is getting like 40 people. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So there is a big market out there to do it. Yeah.
Did you charge for that then, or was that something you just offered for free?
No, that was just free.
Just free, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So you can see there's a massive demand there for it, can't you?
Oh yeah, walking's a lot more popular now. Like ever since lockdown and everything, so many more people are getting out, which is nice.
Yeah, good, definitely.
How's that affecting the fells?
They're a lot busier, yeah.
Can you see the wear and tear, the footpaths, and
you can a little bit, yeah.
I went up Coniston Old Man and I was dying, nearly at the top, and there was 6 to 10 70-year-old people there digging the footpath and rearranging the rocks, maintaining the popular route because of the wear and tear, and they were looking after it. So they're up there with spades and buckets and tools, and I was like dying just in shorts and t-shirt. A 70-year-old woman digging footpaths,
maybe
at the
looking
top
for the beach and got lost. Yeah, there's a lot of volunteers now who maintain the paths, which is good. So
it's brilliant.
100%.
So obviously your auntie was a big influence growing up, and you kind of learnt your trade shadowing her, but have you got any influences now of the people that you follow and research, and you follow their journeys?
Yeah, I've got a lot. I'm good friends with a woman called Marta Miztel. She's a Polish woman, so I've done a few hikes with her. She summited Everest last year, so she's a big inspiration. And then obviously Gesman and Kenton Cool, Nimsdai, all the big profiles there. There's a lot of good role models in the mountains.
Quality. What do you think of what's the documentary called? The free climbing documentary.
Free solo.
Would you do
God.
that?
No, that's crazy. He's mad, that Alex.
Alex
it's good to watch that though, isn't it?
Yeah. I was sweating. Like my hands were sweating. He's gripping on with his fingertips.
I know.
It's amazing how people can become so comfortable in them sort of situations just by, like, say, the practice over the years. And
that you said mental strength. That's
it's
unbelievable. That's superhuman.
It's next level. Yeah, they're amazing.
Even I can watch that. It's like
palms
on the edge of the seat,
Well, fair play to them.
I know. So, say going forward, apart from your adventuring, is there any other sort of things you'd like to get into, or is that your sole focus from now on? Is it?
Yeah, I'd say my sole focus is mountaineering. Like the 8,000 does appeal a lot to me. Like I'm absolutely obsessed with Everest. Like watch videos every day. I could probably do the route myself. I've watched it that much. So there's 14 8,000 metre peaks, Everest being the highest, so I'd love to be able to do a few of them. That's my main goal, I'd say.
Out of them 14 peaks, then obviously it's well documented through the 14 peaks on Netflix. What are the ones you want to go after the most? Everest is obviously the main one you've talked about.
Yeah,
what are the other ones?
Manaslu is another one. There's one called Cho Oyu in China, and K2 is a really big one as well. I think K2 is the hardest one to climb.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's K2? Sorry, I'm not.
K2's in Pakistan.
Right.
Yeah. There's one called Amadablam as well in Nepal. That's only 6,800 meters, but it's more like technical. You need like ropes and ice axes and everything. Yeah.
So are these accessible then, these peaks? Like you said, if K2's in Pakistan, obviously, the troubles that they've been in that country. How do you go about timing that and dangers of just going there?
With the guide and everything, they're obviously experienced, so the like long treks in, but you've got like border control and everything, so that's kind of what's in the price as well. You pay,
really?
Yeah, you pay for like to get through the borders and everything. Even with Morocco, there was 2 borders, because I think there was someone got murdered on there a few years ago, and they've like brought in the policy to like have permits and stuff now. So yeah,
right.
It's cool.
Yeah.
My a lad who goes to the gym, Mark Moore, did every Wainwright without stopping.
Oh, in one go?
Yeah.
Wow.
He started with his friend, and his friend got ill and dropped out, so he finished them on his own. Took him, I think it was 2.5 weeks or something. But
wow.
Is that something you'd ever consider?
Potentially, yeah. The Welsh 3000s is a little bit. It's not as big as doing the Wainwrights, but it's still like regarded as one of the hardest hiking challenges in the UK, or probably in the world maybe. That's to complete all 15 Welsh summits in one day. Oof. I've done it twice now. I think the first time I did it in 17 hours.
Done all 15 in one
15,
day?
So Snowdon's just one of them. And Cribgoch, I don't know if you've heard of Cribgoch. That's one of them as well. That's like a proper knife-edge ridge. And then, like me being me, I just wanted to beat my time, so I went back and did it in 13 hours, which is pretty good, yeah.
Not wired up,
15 and 13 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you have to be tactful then with how you pick the route, or do you just, is there a quick route and is there a slow route, or do you just take one at a time?
There's just one route, yeah, but from the first time, like, you kind of recce it a bit, and I could make little shortcuts and tweak it a little bit, yeah. That's the same with the Wainwright one. A lot of people, there is different routes, but there's like the one everyone who does that challenge does, and then they'll like tweak it a little bit to what they think.
Yeah, he had it all planned out. He knew exactly.
I remember his gym backed him quite a bit, didn't they? Like, down in industry.
Try to raise some money for his He did it all for charity.
Oh, did he? Cool.
Some challenge, and he won't mind me saying he was in a bad way. His feet were bad, and he just pushed through it and finished it. It's like the mental toughness there on your own, thinking home's an hour away. I'd be ringing, come and pick me up. And his mate drops out, and then I just thought, fair play, and what an achievement. Yeah.
Oh, it's a hell of an achievement. Yeah.
I'd be hungry.
Main concern.
Carried all his food, carried it all, and took everything with him in his backpack. 2.5 weeks.
Wow. One person I'm always interested in, I don't even heard of him, he's called Killian Jornet.
Oh yeah.
That endurance runner. And I might be getting this wrong, it sounds ridiculous even saying it, but I'm sure he went up Everest in like 20 something hours, like ran it.
Yeah, I think he did, yeah.
And then he was like pissed off that it took him so long. And then did it like a week later in 17 hours or something. It's like unreal. Like, I think he took like 3 different pairs of like running boots he could get up there. By the time he got like right to the top, he was like all in the winter gear, but still running up Everest.
Yeah.
Like, and back down.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, Killian. Yeah.
Do you ever do any sort of fell running that then as well, or is it pure?
No, never. I've never. I'm not a big runner, to be honest. I like just hiking, and even then you can go fast and try and beat like times and everything. Yeah.
Is that what you prefer then? Do you prefer like to smash through it, or just to take in the scenery and take it a bit easy?
It depends. If I've done it before, then I don't mind going slow. But I'm like, even when I'm on my own on a new route, I'll try and just beat the time it says it's meant to take, just because I don't know. It's just something in my head.
I do that with the sat nav. Just the same actually.
Just as hard.
You're not going over 70 though. No,
my mate Will, he's a big lad, like well built.
Gonna see this, yeah.
He's rapid up the hills. I'm not kidding. Like, he's light on his feet. Like, we're all struggling. He's like a mountain goat. Just fizzes up. I don't know. He's just built different. Yeah. He's same stride as us, but he's always up there as well. But he's just quick at it. I don't know if you train for that or you just got it in you or what.
I know. I was thinking, going back, so I was thinking about the Everest stuff, so that's mulling it over in my head. When you go and do like them sort of Everest challenges, and you've got to say it takes 55 days.
55 days, yeah.
How do you get that time off work?
Well, I've had meetings with work about it, and they've said they'll give me a sabbatical, like whenever I need to, for the mountains, yeah.
So really?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I guess, because it's like my biggest dream, I just have to deal with it and take it off.
Yeah, unpaid.
Find a way, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair play to them.
Yeah,
but
I wonder if surely, like, if a big business like BAE, I wonder if they'd back it in a way, like, if one of their employees is doing something like of that, like, that's massive, isn't it?
Definitely. That's worth a letter as well.
That's got to be worth some sort of, like, business backing, hasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there anyone else you know from Barrow that's done it?
I don't know anyone, no. See,
that's a big thing for the town. Like, the whole town should be backing that, not just...
Yeah. I think they would. Like, that's a good thing about Barrow, like, it is what it is, but when everyone is going out to try to achieve something like that, or if something's good's happening in town, people generally get behind it, don't they? And what the other people do well.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get a few people that don't and get maybe a bit jealous of it, but
people don't like to see you succeed, do they? Really?
Yeah. Like, but I think again, most people like to get behind you, like 100%. You see, even the football and the rugby, like.
Strong community.
Yeah, strong community. People like to get behind and want to see you do well. I think you'd be the same, to be fair.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something. I would like reach out to local businesses if anyone wanted to help out with the funding. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Get some off the back of this.
Yeah. Hopefully they see this.
We'll take 10%.
Yeah.
No,
definitely.
So
I think that'll happen.
Shifting on to our events, have you ever been to any of the pitch up events or not?
I haven't actually.
Maybe not. No, I'll have to get you down there.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah.
What do you mean you haven't?
Sorry. No, I haven't.
You're busy up the fair.
Well,
you were in Italy at the time.
I just think we can maybe pick his brains and our sort of adventuring event we could do. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be good. We want to do a marathon around Barrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and shut the roads, don't we? Big full town event. You know, like when the bike race came through.
Oh yeah.
But it'd be brilliant to do something up the lakes.
Yeah.
We've got a few friends up there with farms, haven't we, with fields we can start from, and it'd be brilliant to do a bit of a...
You could do like a little mountain festival.
Oh,
like
definitely.
Have a band on and stage and that. They do things like that in Keswick, and at the moment it's amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
We could do that. Could help you raise some funds for your Everest trip.
Yeah, that'd be
100%. Like, we're sort of trying to do as much of that as we can. Like you were saying before, like, opportunity is massive. If you can give people the opportunity to get out and do stuff like that, and through an event, absolute bonus, isn't
Helps
it?
everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, let's do that.
Get it organised. Well, I think that's everything I had to cover today.
Yeah, there's 3 questions we ask every guest.
Yeah.
At the end, what's the best pub you've ever been to and why?
Best pub. God.
Bit off topic this.
Yeah. Best pub.
You can go local or up the lakes, narrow it down a bit.
I'd say, I can't remember. I think it's called the Clackey again. It's in Glencoe. That's probably the best. It's like a really good atmosphere and everything. Yeah.
Like it.
It's a really good pub.
Put that on the list.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Is creating our own pub.
Were you doing a Munro at the time?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Which one was it?
Anakiga Courage. It's called.
Cool, yeah.
Earn that pint, don't
Didn't know there was pubs involved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a good thing about hiking. There's a pub afterwards. Can't beat a pint
It's
after.
just when you go at the start of the walk.
Yeah. Make sure you go at the end.
What's the best event you've been to? It can be anything, like your mountain event or a concert or...
Best event?
Can be anything.
I'd probably say Keswick Mountain Festival. That was a good little event. They had like a stage and where Lador Falls is. The backdrop of like cat bells, and they had like the big stage there and loads of like stalls and stuff. That was cool. Yeah.
We did an event same weekend. I think it's in May, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, is it?
That's why we struggled to get gear, because they had it
off. Oh yeah.
It's massive there.
It's really big.
I'd like to go.
Keswick is just an awesome place. Like, it's got a little bit of a vibe of Ulster, I think, but like on a bit different scale there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's good for the dogs as well. There's more dogs than humans there.
Yeah, really chilled out in it. You can't really have a bad time there. It's nice and chill. Pubs, nice food, and like I said, if you can time it for an event like that, even better.
Yeah. And if you could make one change to Barrow or bring something to Barrow, what would it be?
I'd probably bring more shops and things but as you see Portland Walk now, it's horrendous in it. There's nothing to do around here. So probably just better shops, I guess.
I think that'll be everyone's answer. Hopefully BAE buying that block in the town centre will help attract some new shops.
100%.
That's a good answer there. Thanks for that.
No
worries. Really appreciate it, mate. Hope you got from strength to strength, and all the best of Everest and Nepal next year.
Cheers,
mate.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Top man. Cheers,
nice
bud.
one.
Smashed it.
Yeah, you were brilliant there.
Class. Second one in.
Second one.
Two down.